Hey everyone, welcome to our video series, Canal Days, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of the East Street Cemetery in Chicopee, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, here with my co-host, local historian and founder of the Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Kumu. As your personal tour guide, Robert will lead you through some of the most iconic sites and their legends of historic significance throughout New England's preeminent and pivotal state of Massachusetts. With his expert insights, every monument and memorial story comes to life. Afterwards, don't forget to check out his website, holyokecanaltour.org, to access the full Canal Days video and podcast series. Also, check out his free in-person public tours he offers throughout Western Mass, and the 2025 schedule for these special events. You can also book personalized private tours for groups of all sizes, tailored to your interests. To discover all that and much more, remember to log into holyokecanaltour.org. So, Robert, first, describe some of the features amongst the cemetery.
Well, the stones are on an east-west axis, and that's wonderful because that's holding to the congregational tradition. And the cemetery was made in the year 1823, and then that tradition was still hold. But usually these old burials, the stones would have point towards the west, inscription towards the west, and a footstone towards the east. But by 1823, that tradition was starting to go away. So there might be some stones inside there that holds perfectly to that tradition. But most of them, by the 1830s, would be pointing towards the nearest road in the style of a garden-style cemetery, even though it's not that. But people, Sextons started making them that way. And since then, they've been probably lined up a lot more. And you can see the steeple there. There are multiple churches around this area, hence this is a churchyard cemetery. You can see a lot of wonderful burials here. Finally on East Street now instead of the side street, and we get to see more of the cemetery. This is pointing towards the east, and these seem to be later, like late 1800s, early 1900s around this area. Some obelisk, a brownstone obelisk, and marble, so forth. There's a Sears and Roebuck granite black inside there. And here's the sign. Okay, now these are the very old burials. These say 1810, 1812. And these are inscription facing towards the west, which is correct. So this is the very oldest part of the cemetery. Okay, and here's a big brownstone, and then behind it is a big, looks like a zinc monument. I'll tap on it and tell right away. It's for the Keys family, 1874. Yes, so it's zinc. They look very much like a granite. And these are some of the 1840s. And here's a cool looking one. Samuel Shackford, died February 3rd, 1864, 56 years old. Okay, here's a stone. Willie, the son of Mostry Holcomb, died 1865, age 3 years old. This one was repaired. The stone was put right into concrete in order to buttress it. This one's a Revolutionary War veteran. He lived a long life, died in 1860. Okay, here's the Brown family. Here's another zinker for the Fernay family. Deacon Russell Fernay, died 1879. Okay, and here we start in 1900s finally. As we go towards East Street, you're finding the much more modern ones, 1912 for Clara White. Okay, so let's walk now towards the Broadway Street area. That seems to be where the very oldest ones are in the cemetery. Here's a stone that collapsed to the ground. Hard to read. Looks like 1841. Yeah, so these are the very oldest ones. This is 1820, so that might be as old as you get if it does say that. 1826, 1826, 1827 behind it. And they're pointing in the correct direction. 1820. 1824. Then on the other side here, 1836, 37. $1843. So these are getting younger as you go to this side. 1829.